Hello, Watchman 2310 here with another urgent message from the Lord. This is an encouraging word. And mind you, I have not even had time to wake up yet. I got this just as soon as I got up and wanted to get it on here and out to you guys so that you will be lifted up in the midst of trouble. When I got up this morning, my wife also told me that she woke up feeling ill and having dreams that she did not understand, and she felt like she was just kind of floating along in space. And so the encouraging part of that is, as with many of you, not just her, the Lord is taking out of His true believers that are actively pursuing Him and trusting Him. He is taking out of them many old mindsets, many old belief systems, many old patterns of thinking that simply cannot be afforded to be had in these times ahead. And so it's causing many people out there, including my wife and sometimes even myself, to feel like we're kind of disoriented and we don't really understand because we've trusted the Lord, we've done what we needed to do. Why are we feeling like we're just floating along? It's because of three things. Number one, the Lord's taken out the old stuff, like I mentioned. Number two, the Lord is proving to us that regardless of how we feel, He still has us secure right in the center of His will, right in the palm of His hand, regardless of what we feel like. It is us being weaned away from our emotions and our feelings as we've been so accustomed in our current culture to go by. And it's us being weaned onto knowing the truth and then experiencing it through difficult situations so that it is embedded into our thinking and our heart. And this is similar to what Psalm 91 talks about in the first verse when it talks about abiding in the secret place of the Most High. Part of abiding in that secret place is knowing that no matter what we see around us, no matter what we feel inside of us, no matter what things appear to look like, we can know that not only does the Lord reign and not only is He in control of us. Why can we say that? Because we have surrendered and submitted ourselves to Him. But also, like Psalm 23 says, He is our shepherd. And when it says we shall not want, it literally means we have everything we need. We're not lacking anything. He leads us beside still waters. He leads us into places that might look like death, the valley of the shadow of death. And yet we go through those valleys. We know that we don't need to fear because we trust Him, because He's been good to us in the past. And so for those of us who have just started to really follow the Lord, we are experiencing new levels of trust that we didn't think were possible. For others who have been trusting the Lord for a little while, things seem kind of unsure, and it doesn't seem like things are going quite right or the enemy's closing in. The Lord is using the enemy closing in to prove to us that even though the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord lifts up a standard against him. And for those of us who have been trusting the Lord a long, long time, it's actually good news because we know that now that things are starting to get really crazy like we've never seen before, we know that that is signs that things are getting ready to come to a head, whether it's evil coming to the fullness of itself or God's goodness manifesting itself on levels that it's never had been manifested before. So, no matter what level we're on, no matter how long we've been doing things, even if we're just freshly coming back home, as the previous word talked about, we can take assurance in knowing that the Lord's got us. Let this be a word of encouragement. Normally I sit down and I try to write down everything I'm going to say and do scriptural research. I didn't have time for that this morning. I actually haven't finished getting ready for work yet. But I sensed it very urgently in my spirit to get this message out there, to encourage people. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't give in to fear, doubt, disbelief, worry, unthankfulness, ingratitude. Stay thankful because it forces the heart to keep its eyes on the Lord. who is unseen, rather than what the five senses see, taste, feel, hear, smell. It's not about living according to the senses in the kingdom. What better way than to have the Lord allow us to go through some turbulence for us to figure out that the plane is going to stay flying even though it's shaking? What better way to figure out in our hearts that He is truly a good God? Psalm 34:8 says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good." Not only see, but taste. Put it in your mouth. Taste it. Get an experience in your mouth. The very organ that God gave us to speak life or death. Taste the Lord and make sure that He tastes good and is good to you. Don't just take somebody's word for it. Really try Him out and experience Him. Because when you taste Him and you see Him at work, even though you can't see Him, you see evidence of Him working in your life, you're going to figure out in your heart that it's a good thing. And you're going to naturally grow in that trust. And given how short time really is and how crazy things are becoming, that's a very, very critical thing right now, to get deep down in the spirits of those who intend on being inside of His ark of protection, Psalm 91 style. Thank you so much for listening, watching, and be encouraged in the Lord. Keep your eyes on Him. And don't allow the enemy to get the best of you. The Lord would not bring you this far just to fail you. He would not allow you to come through this if He knew that you weren't going to be able to handle it. Know who you are in the Lord. Know the victory that you have by doing it and coming out on the other side of this battle victorious. God bless you.